You woke up this morning and you had to feed your family. And feeding your family means that you had to kick somebody out. So the first time I witnessed an elderly person instead of the city, instead of having humanity take care of her, it came down to capitalism and that she had to go. You know, so, quote unquote, she didn't pay rent on time, and they weren't accepting rent anyway. But what they were doing is they were surely, but surely what they were doing is advancing on kicking people out. You know, so that's what they did. It took them a while to get everybody out. We had 100 families that was left. We organized that 100 family, and we got them close to a $10 million closure. You know, we got them so instead of having to move out in the middle of the school year, because they still had kids that some of them had grandkids that they took to school. If you look right on Biscayne, there's a school right across the street that they normally walk and take their kids to. So imagine them being kicked out around March, and school is still in session, wherever they move to it. And normally, if you look here, anything east is not affordable to us, especially us black folks. You know, so then when you kick somebody out, where are they going? You forcing them to go more out west. You know, unless they could afford it, right? And then again, that means that you gotta take your kids out of school closer to the end of the school year to put them in a different school. Sometimes that can take the kid. That's a setback for them most of the time.
So, what would you like developers to know about your community? Let's start there. What would you like developers to know about your community?
What would I like developers to know about my community? I would like. I don't necessarily want to single out developers. I think people who have means of money comes here and purchase. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter where it is. But we've seen a trend so far that they are purchasing in areas of what we call most vulnerable. Right? Those are areas in which the city has not done shit for. That the city has let go through a process of slum and blight. And with that process itself, those communities, those properties are undervalued, right? So therefore, they can go in there, they can purchase the property, and then from there they rise the property value all over again. Now, what would I like to say to those people who are actively looking to do that? I would say that think about the culture of anyone. There's an example, right, in our culture, which is in the Racine. And there's a song that we normally sing, and that song goes, the song basically translates into, is there any elderlies in the yard? It's like you come into somebody's house, and before you can go, inside the house, you first have to knock. And you first have to ask, is there anybody home? You don't necessarily go into somebody's house, you just open the door as if like you're in, So that's the concept. If you have the means to change the community and you want to come into that community, I think that it's really important to do a study in which that shows that you actually are coming here with some intention on bettering the community, not just for yourself, but for the collective of the community, And I think that takes time, that takes effort to study, to get to know. It's not necessarily one thing that I have seen with development, that everybody has already come with their own agenda. So, with development itself, you have somebody who has the funding, you have a firm, they come together here and they say this is what they're going to do, and this is their 5-year plan, and that to them is set in concrete, right? 5 years. If it's not done within 5 years, we're not investing that, and if you push it back, we're not investing that either, because we need to make that money right now. So that pressure itself forces people, including the city, in which they benefit from these big developments. right? You're looking at $1.5 billion. You know the city's making money off that, especially the impact fees and so forth. So when you have a development that says, hey, if you don't approve this or if you don't do this, I'm dropping the development altogether. You know, then you got to take a deep breath and like, whoa. Because if the city takes a deep breath and says, whoa, then that's just to show you the magnitude of the project itself and the fact that everybody's cashing in, except for the people. Yeah.
So what kind of protections would you like to see in place? Like, how do you think you can protect your community from essentially wiping out the culture with all, like, you know, just people with money coming in, things like that? What kind of things would you like to see happen to ensure the protection of your community and the people?
So how would we protect our community against such measures like gentrification and such? I think it takes two to tango. Just, you know, with any issue, I think that folks are fed up. Folks also are not aware in terms of knowledge, lack of knowledge, and yeah, the lack of knowledge really can stagnate you, and also allows you to be scared of certain things that you shouldn't be. And I think if two levels of protection that needs to be done before you can even get talk to a developer, there needs to be a unification front. There needs to be a front line of folks who care for the community, folks who represent the community, and that's for the community, and that's of the community. You know, that's number one. And then the other issue is that you have to make sure that you have the correct politicians in place to care for your community. You know, and that's if it's even a community, because nowadays that's questionable. You know, because what is a community if nowadays you can have the purchasing power basically anywhere, you know, and you could do what you want. So the protective measures have to come from the people themselves, and I think first and foremost it's the city's job to be the gatekeeper. It's the city's job to be not even a mediator, as it should be, but it's not even mediating anything. You know, in terms of people and development. You know, what I think that they have done is set up criteria in which you must meet them, and if you do meet them, then you get to go ahead. You know, so I think that the city has a lot more to do especially to protect the community, and also to protect the land from predatory big developments. You know, things that don't have the people's interests. You know, capitalism is big in America. Capitalism at this point in time is a new handcuff. You know, it's the new ways in which that allows, that stagnates you, don't allow you to make any money. Also, you don't elevate from a different class, so which means your thought patterns are always the same, and so forth. You know what I mean? And the lack of money, which is the lack of quote unquote, equals the lack of opportunity, and then translate into something else, and then the ball just keeps rolling upon you for not having the ability to acquire money. In which, once you do that, as we know now in 2018, once you have money, you don't necessarily have to have the education. We can see that with our 45. So, and not just 45, we can see that in Ayiti. You know, we see that nowadays anywhere, where I don't really care for politics in the first place. I don't care if you're career politics or if you didn't, study politics and you're now in politics. It's the same fucking bullshit, the same game. Somebody lied to you and somebody's being frank with you. Or even lying even more further, alternative facts. But either way, it's not, the process in which it elevates people who weren't elevated before.
So I'm guessing you would like to see more, like, community participation and, like, just all of the sides participating, trying to come up with a solution. So, okay, sorry.
The city has to come up with a solution, and then not just that, but the city has to be so innovative when it comes to business, economics, and technology. So you have someone like the Magic City, the group who recently got their approval yesterday. If you think about the components in which they're coming here, Magic City, the design district, it's the district of innovation, wellness, and so forth. But you look at the entire plan, they haven't even spoken to how they're going to introduce the technological advances and so forth. They're talking about hotels. You know what I mean? Besides, they're talking about hotels and residence, right? Bar, life, and all that stuff. And then you're talking about Gee, that's going to bring you this, I don't even know if it's virtual reality, some next level shit of entertainment, right? But to me, when you look at a community like Lil Ayiti, you're talking about technology, you're talking about a lot of that. Even Miami, the city of Miami, if you're talking about we're not advanced as a technological city and so forth, shouldn't that be part of the infrastructure and how we uplift people to understand technology and so forth? It's not necessarily technology through the means of economics in terms of having the best bar, you know what I'm saying? Like, be innovative within that construct. You have to, like, that's what I'm saying, come into somebody's house, knocking on the door, asking what they lack of. So therefore, if you are planning for the future, you're planning with them, not against them or displacing them. You're thinking with the people. You have to move with the people. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No, definitely. Could you go into a little bit about what happened yesterday? About from your perspective, do you think it was a productive city hall or town hall meeting? You know, just kind of a little bit on that, if you could.
I think yesterday was the showdown. I yeah, it's a showdown without the exclamation marks behind it. And was it necessary? Sure. I think by now, when you put somebody into a corner and you see them react, regardless of condition or however you're trying to think about why did they do this, why did they do that, you're not in their shoe. You know what I mean? You can't fathom to be in their shoe, to be displaced, to have an avenue shut down from 9 to 5, there's no business and so forth. And knowing that the city is the gatekeeper to allowing certain developments to come in. So I think that even the stories of our culture at times, it is needed, but yet yesterday it came across very manipulated, whether or not, and I promise you, I swear that it almost seems like you came in there to be you either with the devil or you're not with the devil, So it really just came down with a yes or no, but it's not yes or a no. And if you have what you call a unified front of people, then complicated things that turn into that people try to simplify, then we could have, it's like having a set of lawyers to fight for you, right? To defend you. And yesterday, I felt like the community itself lost, just like every other community that is going under gentrification in America. Regardless of some people are coming within your community with a set of ideas that they already have in their heads, and that's the idea they want to flourish. That's the idea they want to make happen. But there are stipulations to that in which they want to take care of. So that's where what you call the community benefit agreement comes into play. Yeah, I want to build this house. It's 9 acres. You got to speak to the community. How much do I really have to give up? Because everything really comes down to the dollars. And I think that we could have negotiated. I think, like I said, I think that we Magic City got the best out of us as a community. But the fight in terms of sustaining Lil Ayiti in the culture is still here, and we're still here, and we're not going nowhere. Let's be real. When I mean that is, we make sure of that, regardless of whether or not that you have gentrification. Just like Black folks in America, we make sure we're not going nowhere. You know what I mean? I think it's just a matter of understanding that Magic City is here to stay, and they are here in our community. How do we reach a better dialogue and making sure that if they weren't thinking of us before, that we're in their minds now and we're moving forward as a collective process. And then that would allow, that would actually stop a lot of this big development and stuff and all this jargons and that all that scarcity about development and stuff when we ourselves need to be developed.
Right.
Right.
So do you view gentrification as inevitable? Do you see it as like it's bound to happen? There's really, I mean, we can only move forward from here in terms of we need to build a better dialogue between developers and things like that because it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that we should worry about the systems in which of the systems that are set up that allows gentrification to happen. I think that we should focus much more on the mechanisms, like taking care, like making sure that we deal with the city, making sure that we have the city accountable, we have the proper politicians accountable, and capitalism is such an institution that we may not even see in our lifetime goes down. That is inevitable, and I think that when you live within the United States of America, um, it is what it is. Um, I think one way that I think that we can kind of stop that process is by uplifting each other, politically educating each other, financially educating each other, by where we have a trust in which we're making economic decisions together, we're buying buildings together, we are whatever we need to do as a community, it is the collective. We need more entrepreneurs. We're going into the age by where trades, vocational schools are back. And they're back as much as somebody needs to learn how to code. And at one point we had technological advances going this way while the labor industry and all that took a hit. But it's because you had the infrastructure in place already to do so. But in this generation, going into the 21st century, both of them have to somewhat be parallel. We got to bring back the jobs in order to sustain this market. If not, the international market, well, America's not, we won't be able to sustain ourselves. We consume as much as we consume a lot of stuff too. Yeah.
What do you say that we spoke to Aberjane? I don't know if you recall that, but I was just curious as to the way she voiced it was that this was a good project because it was going to bring jobs, and she really emphasized jobs and jobs to bring a lot of jobs and things like that. So do you think in terms of like, do you think that's something? I guess, hold on, how do I phrase this? Do you think she's putting too much emphasis on jobs and things like that, and they're trying to just mask this whole thing? Do you think the jobs that they're bringing are enough? Is that enough of a positive for such a high development, such a costly development and things like that?
What was the last question?
Sorry. So I guess to like pack it all together is number one, do you think the jobs is that enough for the community? Because it's almost like they're watching it as but we're bringing jobs, like we're doing these great things. And then the last part is just like, yeah, well, that's essentially my question. Just like, what would you say to someone who has that?
Her argument is jobs and bringing in like tech companies or something like that to make it flourish. But do you think that's a valid argument?
Valid for who? And the jobs they're talking about, who will be filling these jobs? What zip code? And what sort of jobs? Right? Those are all great questions. And I think if you just remove the idea of making like way more than 5 cents, just removed that idea already, and that's why I say that I think international, like foreign policy is domestic policy, and I always say that is because if you just kind of look at what's happening in front of you, you can see that happening on a global front, especially when it comes to the rise of capitalism in the market. There's plenty of countries who was never ready to trade with America, but America forced them to trade in the first place. There's plenty of countries who their natural resources was never ready, or they themselves weren't ready to pull out their natural resources, but America forced them to. So when you talk about jobs, I think there's an idea of forcing things down our throats, especially things that we don't necessarily need and want, but it's for their benefits. Who will be equipped for these jobs? Are we training folks for these jobs? You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's just a general statement in which you can't really say it's wrong or right, because there is a building going up. Somebody's gonna have to put it up. They're gonna need people to put that up. There's a restaurant that's going inside of it. Somebody's gonna need to maintain it. Somebody's gonna need to get hired for that. Is that coming from our community? Right? Would it be coming from our community? You look at a $1.7 billion project, and you look at the average income of that community is from $19,000 to $25,000. Let's go say that it's 25, right? You're not building for us, but if you're talking about economics and jobs, you're hoping to take us from one bracket to the next. And I don't think that this building will do that. This building is set for other folks to come and enjoy it. It's not for the folks who are now there. They didn't do a proper assessment of the people. So every job that they have is not going to come from that zip code. It's going to come from somewhere else. They have their own agenda. There's some certain things that I can't sugarcoat or find the nicest word to say it. Bottom line is it's all about profit. Whether you talking about compounding that profit or you're making 1 cent, it's to the individual and to the conscience of that individual, right? And we have noticed that capitalism has no conscience. So which means the people who drives capitalism, they don't have the conscience. They don't have the conscience to give a fuck. They're coming to your community and displacing you, right? And then they're bandaging the problems you had prior to them getting there. So they're not coming to help you, because if they did come to help you, knowing that they have more than you, they would actually study you. They're not studying nothing but blueprints. So yeah. So it's always going to come down to the haves and the have-nots, where the Athenian principle still stands strong in 2018, and it's only for colonizers. The strong do what they will, and the weak suffer what they must. So, yeah, I don't like that.
Right. Sorry. I'm going to the question.
No, that's all right.
Okay. We did talk about how the negatives of gentrification, like one of the biggest ones, is displacing people, right? Do you think there are any positives to gentrification?
Is there any positive towards it? Not a collective one. Not a collective one. Because if somebody bought something for $20,000 30 years ago, and somebody come knock on their door and said your property value has went up, and now the appraiser said, look, it's worth $500,000. You bought that $20,000 30 years ago, and now you caught up between what? You're an elderly, your kids are gone, the house is breaking down. You can barely afford it because you didn't even make enough to get Social Security. If you did get Social Security, it's not the mortgage price and stuff like that. You probably took out 2 mortgages to help your kids growing up. So you put somebody in the corner, what they do? You're going to judge them for what they do? You're going to look at them and say, hey, you shouldn't have sold that? That's legitimate property. That's property that's part of culture, and that's for us to preserve culture. People, especially people in America. Black people in America need to understand we are culture. It's not the Brown and Babylon that makes us culture. It's who we are, how we move. We go anywhere and make that culture. We are it. Yeah, it's not good for the collective, but the individual, you can't tell the individual not to sell. You don't know what conditions they got. You don't know what hospital bill they face with. You live in a place where shit, it probably cost a fart. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's a tricky question. I say it's tricky because anything, if you can't collectively think that it's good for the benefit of our people, then it's tricky. Because we're tired of the individual winning. You know what I mean?
Okay. Also, okay. I wanted to, if you could go over a little bit more about what the whole town hall and city hall meeting was about, and then the next step. Like, what's the next step for you for community leaders in Little Haiti?
So the town hall meeting was, I think that the other one in front of I think it's the Urban Review Board, if it's not. But the process in terms of development, you have to go in front of the Urban Review Board, go in front of I think it might be different, the Planning and Zoning Board as well.
Yeah.
And then after that, you go into the City Commission to approve it. So I think yesterday we were in front of the Planning and Zoning Board for Magic City. So Magic City has purchased a number of warehouses in Little Haiti, including a vacant lot, which used to be the Magic City Trailer Park. So they acquired a lot of empty land that set them aside from the other SAPs that are coming up in the area. Folks nowadays, I don't know if it's because of the climate change, people care about the word displacement is really astonishing to folks, right? So if you're not displacing people, they'll give it to you in a heartbeat. So Magic City went off that principle or that process that since we're not displacing people, you should, approve us what you call this special area planning. And the special area planning is something that you apply for if you're building a development in which you need to change the zoning of how it is now. So Magic City special area planning got approved yesterday, and it's going to go to the next level, which is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the commission board. If not, they're definitely moving down the pipeline and getting this property approved. Of course, there were some measures around it, stipulations. At first, they proposed 28 floors. Now they went down to 25. But believe it or not, the building is coming up. Whatever his name is, coming here to wow us. And so what happened yesterday was just the first phase of folks who want the project and folks who necessarily don't think that they did enough to introduce the project to the community. one side wanted deferment, the other one wanted to go ahead with it because of their timeline. You know, it's not the people's timeline, it's their timeline. And they came in and bought the damn property. And it's their project, so it's their damn timeline. You know what I mean? And who are the people to stagnate that or push that back, right? Especially if they have done everything they could already, you know. So they say, actually, which I disagree. I think that for Magic City, for a conglomerate, a development, a big development like that, knowing damn well they're gonna change Little Haiti, knowing damn well like you may not even hear of Little Haiti anymore in the next 15 years. It's definitely gonna be a district, just like if you ever look, you have a downtown district, there's districts all over the place, and Little Haiti just happened to be the next damn district. And they wanted to set precedents for technology innovations, which are jobs and people who have yet to come to Miami, and those are like highly skillful jobs and so forth. And we know, who has these jobs and so forth. They're not bringing, I'm bringing my brother who got 2 master's degrees now. You know that. They're not doing that. But bottom line, like the brother said, I have $24 million on the line. And if I don't get this TP, if I don't get this SAP, you guys can forget about this TPU in terms of, because they have a plan, it sets a plan by December or on our Basel for the trailer park itself to be ready and open. So they have, if it's not happening this year, they're going to pull back. So like imagine an area which they already purchased, now the city was looking to get some money off the impact fees and so forth. And all of a sudden, like, they're pulling out. That's not a good thing for the city.
Right.
So they approved it. You know what I mean? They approved it. They approved it with certain conditions in which I think that the people will not even meet yet. Nobody really cared to do a study about Little Haiti. A comprehensive study about, given the fact that we are a community of T5 and T12. The codes were set in place for a reason, and we like downtown. We like Brickell. I actually like Brickell City. I have some friends who live there. Sometimes it's kind of fancy to get up to the 33rd floor, pull out of binoculars and just look across the bay. That's beautiful. Is that needed in Little Haiti? No. We can do that in Brickell. We can do that in downtown. Hell, now it's midtown. We can do that there. Right, but I think that there's certain, that's just, we don't control that outcome, but I think that Little Haiti should definitely be a very greenery, less jungle feel, like concrete jungle feel. We don't need that much concrete. We already have enough. We got beautiful canopies here. It would be beautiful to see solar panels of cars, or you know what I'm saying? Like nothing but bikes riding in Little Haiti, golf carts that are solar, and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the reasons why you see some of these homes are also going up, is because you have middle-aged white folks that are also moving into here that likes that feel of that community without these big buildings being there. And if you think about it, we're so close to the beach. You put up these high rises, people who live on the west won't even feel the breezes coming from the ocean. You know what I mean? And look at the summertime. You ever go to New York in the summertime? Heat stroke, especially in the city. That also has to do with climate. Climate change.
Do you think
Yeah, I think it's good.
it's good? You don't have any more questions?
Everything.
Yeah.